Lisa's heart raced as she read the eviction notice pinned to her door. Her children's voices echoed in the background. She had no idea how she would keep a roof over their heads. Just when hope seemed lost, a stranger appeared, offering to pay her rent. But something about him felt off, his kindness too sudden, too perfect. Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this man, and the truth behind his generosity would leave her questioning everything.
Welcome back to True Tales Authentic Emotions. I'm Emma Blake. Let's jump into another incredible story. Enjoy.
Lisa stared at the eviction notice pinned to her door. Her heart pounded as she realized the severity of the situation. She had never felt so helpless, knowing her children were playing inside, unaware of the impending disaster. Inside the modest home, the voices of her children echoed with innocence, completely oblivious to the storm about to hit their lives. Lisa clutched the notice, her hands trembling, trying to figure out how to protect them from the harsh reality that was closing in. The weight of her responsibilities pressed down on her. There was no immediate solution, no miracle waiting in the wings. The bills had piled up, and now this. She felt as though she was drowning in a sea of debt with no lifeline in sight. Every failed attempt to resolve her financial issues replayed in her mind, intensifying her desperation. As she sank into the worn-out couch, her thoughts spiraled into panic. Who could she turn to? There was no one left. Just as despair began to consume her, there was a knock at the door. Startled, she opened it to find a stranger standing on her doorstep, offering to pay her rent. His smile was warm, but something about him didn't feel right. His offer too generous, his timing too perfect. Lisa's instinct screamed at her to be cautious. The man's kindness felt like a trap, but she was out of options. Could she trust him? She hesitated, her mind racing through every possible scenario. The truth behind this man's sudden appearance would turn out to be far more complex and dangerous than she could have ever imagined, leaving her to question everything she thought she knew. Lisa Bennett lived in a small house in the suburbs of Chicago with her 2 children, Ethan and Madison. The neighborhood was quiet, filled with families who mostly kept to themselves. Lisa's days were filled with the challenges of single motherhood, trying to keep everything together on a limited budget. Each morning, she would prepare her children for school, putting on a brave face despite the growing anxiety inside her. She knew that her situation was precarious, but she couldn't let her children see her fear. After losing her job 6 months ago, life had become increasingly difficult. Lisa had worked as a secretary in a downtown law firm, a job that barely paid the bills but offered some stability. When the firm downsized, Lisa was one of the first to go. The job market was tough, and she found herself struggling to find anything that would allow her to maintain even the most basic standard of living for her family. The savings she had were quickly depleted, leaving her with mounting bills and no income. Flashbacks of the past months haunted her as she tried to make ends meet. She remembered the countless job applications, the interviews that led nowhere, and the nights she spent lying awake, wondering how she would keep her family afloat. The weight of these memories bore down on her as she walked through her empty house, the silence broken only by the distant laughter of her children playing outside. The fear of losing everything gnawed at her, but she had no choice but to keep going. Lisa, determined to find a solution, started by reaching out to friends and local institutions. She spent days calling every contact she could think of, explaining her dire situation and asking for any assistance they could offer. However, each call ended with a polite but firm rejection. The people she had once relied on were either unable or unwilling to help, leaving Lisa feeling more isolated than ever. After exhausting all her options, Lisa met with Rachel Turner, a community lawyer she had been referred to. Rachel listened sympathetically as Lisa explained her situation. After hearing the whole story, Rachel suggested that Lisa hire an attorney who specialized in eviction cases. While this gave Lisa a glimmer of hope, it was quickly overshadowed by the realization that she had no means to pay for legal help. Lisa left Rachel's office feeling defeated. The reality of her situation weighed heavily on her, knowing that even legal advice, which could be her last hope, was beyond her reach. She wandered the streets of Chicago, lost in thought, wondering where she could turn next. The looming threat of losing her home was now more imminent than ever, and Lisa struggled to keep her despair from overwhelming her. Lisa, feeling the weight of her circumstances, puts all her hopes into securing a loan to save her home. However, when the bank declines her application, her heart sinks. It was her last chance, and now, without that financial lifeline, the looming eviction seems inevitable. The sense of desperation begins to overwhelm her as she realizes how close she is to losing everything. While Lisa struggles with the loan rejection, Rachel uncovers a more troubling issue. The property owner is under intense pressure to sell the house quickly. This revelation adds a new layer of urgency to Lisa's predicament. The potential sale of the house means Lisa's situation is even more precarious than she thought, leaving her with fewer options and less time. Just as Lisa is about to lose all hope, Adam Brooks, a man she has never met before, steps into her life with an unexpected offer. He promises to pay off her debt entirely, a gesture that seems too good to be true. Lisa, though grateful, can't shake the feeling that there might be something more behind his sudden generosity. Despite her reservations, Lisa agrees to Adam's offer, but her mind is filled with doubts. Who is this man? And why is he so eager to help her? As they finalize the arrangements, Lisa's unease grows, sensing there's more to Adam than he's revealing. Adam begins to integrate himself into Lisa's life, helping her with household tasks and offering guidance to her children, Ethan and Madison. This sudden support from a man they barely know creates an awkward and tense atmosphere in the household. Lisa appreciates the help but can't ignore the unease growing in the back of her mind, especially as Adam becomes more involved in their daily lives. The community starts to notice Adam's frequent visits to Lisa's home. Rumors begin to spread, and questions arise about his true intentions. Neighbors whisper among themselves, speculating on why a man like Adam would take such an interest in a struggling single mother and her kids. The mounting gossip only adds to Lisa's discomfort, making her wonder if she made the right choice in accepting his help. As Adam's involvement in Lisa's life continues, the neighbors' gossip intensifies. They begin to speculate wildly about his true intentions, with some suggesting that he might have ulterior motives. This growing suspicion starts to weigh heavily on Lisa, who feels the pressure from the community's judgmental eyes. Rachel, concerned about Lisa, decides to dig into Adam's past. As she delves deeper, she finds conflicting information, some of which paints Adam as a successful businessman, while other details hint at a much darker side. The discrepancies in his background raise more questions than answers, leaving Rachel unsettled. Lisa's world takes another hit when she loses her second job, the one she relied on to make ends meet. The dismissal is abrupt, leaving her with no choice but to depend even more on Adam. The growing dependence on him starts to weigh on her mind, filling her with a sense of unease. As if that wasn't enough, the school where her children study sends a notice demanding the payment of overdue fees. The school's insistence only adds to her mounting stress, leaving Lisa feeling more trapped and desperate. Lisa sits alone in her small living room, her thoughts racing. The pressure of protecting her family is becoming unbearable. She starts to question whether she is strong enough to handle everything on her own. The fear of failure grips her heart, and she feels the weight of her responsibilities more than ever. As she reflects on her situation, a deep sense of guilt emerges. The idea of relying more on Adam to help her makes her uneasy. She's torn between accepting his assistance and the unsettling feeling that comes with it, leading her into a moral dilemma she can't easily resolve. Rachel, with her ever-calm demeanor, explains a legal strategy that might save Lisa's home. She carefully outlines the steps needed, emphasizing that it will take time and a significant amount of money, resources Lisa simply doesn't have at the moment. The plan seems solid but is daunting in its complexity and the uncertainty of its outcome. Adam, on the other hand, offers a quicker solution. He suggests something more immediate, but Lisa hesitates. The simplicity and speed of Adam's plan are tempting, yet something about it feels off, making her unsure of which path to take. Just when Lisa thought things couldn't get worse, she receives a letter stating that the property has been sold to an investor. The new owner demands an immediate eviction, leaving Lisa in a state of panic as the deadline looms closer. The stability she desperately sought now seems like a distant dream. Rachel delves into the background of the new owner, only to discover a shocking connection. The investor has ties to Adam, casting doubt on his intentions and deepening the sense of betrayal that Lisa feels. Despite Rachel's best efforts to contest the sale, the court rules in favor of the new owner, leaving Lisa with no choice but to vacate her home. The crushing weight of losing the house, coupled with the looming uncertainty, breaks her spirit. She feels utterly defeated, her last glimmer of hope extinguished. In the midst of this turmoil, Adam vanishes without a trace. His sudden disappearance leaves Lisa feeling abandoned and desperate, with no one left to turn to. The situation seems more hopeless than ever. Lisa, along with her children, finds herself temporarily homeless, a harsh reality that only deepens her despair. They wander from one temporary shelter to another, the uncertainty and fear etched on her face as she struggles to keep her family safe. The weight of her situation feels unbearable, and every day seems like a battle for survival. Rachel, frustrated and seeking answers, confronts Adam. She demands to know why he has allowed things to spiral out of control, but Adam remains elusive. His calm demeanor only adds to the tension as he refuses to reveal his true intentions, leaving Rachel both angry and confused. Rachel uncovers a shocking connection between Adam and Lisa's late mother, tracing back to a tragic accident years ago. The revelation hits her hard, as it explains some of Adam's cryptic behavior and his reluctance to fully engage. Rachel knows she must confront Adam with this information, but realizes it could lead to even more complications. When Lisa confronts Adam, demanding the full truth about his past, he remains evasive. His demeanor is guarded, and while he acknowledges the connection, he refuses to divulge the entire story, leaving Lisa with more questions than answers. Lisa, with Rachel's support, begins the exhausting search for a new home. Every place they visit seems to present another hurdle. Landlords who look at her with suspicion, or those who outright refuse because of her financial situation. The sense of rejection weighs heavily on Lisa, but Rachel remains steadfast, encouraging her to keep going despite the mounting obstacles. Meanwhile, Adam makes efforts to regain Lisa's trust. He offers more financial help, trying to show that his intentions are sincere. However, Lisa's doubts linger, making her question whether she can truly rely on him after everything that has happened. Rachel, who has stood by Lisa through thick and thin, begins to harbor doubts about Adam's true intentions. She notices inconsistencies in his behavior that make her uneasy, causing her to distance herself. Lisa, sensing Rachel's growing apprehension, feels a new wave of loneliness wash over her, deepening her sense of isolation. As Rachel pulls away, Lisa finds herself increasingly cut off from the few people she trusted. The emotional weight of her situation grows heavier, leaving her feeling more vulnerable and desperate than ever. Lisa sits alone, contemplating the series of events that have led her to this point. She ponders over Adam's presence in her life, questioning what he truly represents to her. Is he a savior, or is there something darker beneath the surface? This moment of introspection brings a mix of confusion and clarity, leaving her feeling more uncertain than ever. Meanwhile, Rachel, after distancing herself, begins to reconsider her judgment of Adam. She reflects on the times he has shown genuine concern for Lisa and the children. Though her doubts persist, Rachel decides that perhaps Adam deserves another chance, willing to trust him once more to see where his intentions truly lie. Lisa begins to recall small, seemingly insignificant details from her interactions with Adam. These memories, once overlooked, now appear to carry deeper meaning. She remembers how Adam would occasionally mention things about her past that she had never shared with him, or how he seemed to know more about her life than she had ever revealed. These moments start to form a pattern, leading her to question what she truly knows about Adam. Flashbacks to their earlier encounters reveal subtle hints of Adam's true identity. Moments where he hesitated before answering questions, or where he seemed overly familiar with places and people connected to Lisa's past now stand out as clues she had missed. These memories, once benign, now suggest a deeper, hidden connection that Lisa had never considered. Lisa's world comes crashing down as she learns that she might lose custody of her children. The fear of being separated from Ethan and Madison overwhelms her, leading her to a state of panic. Her thoughts race, filled with dread at the possibility of losing the most important people in her life. The weight of this revelation leaves her feeling utterly defeated, as if all hope has been stripped away. In this moment of despair, Adam steps forward and finally reveals the full truth. His words are like a dagger to Lisa's heart as he admits to secrets he's kept hidden for so long. The truth shatters the fragile trust she had in him, and Lisa feels herself spiraling into an emotional collapse. The revelation is too much to bear, and she feels completely lost, unsure of how to move forward from this devastating betrayal. As the final pieces of the puzzle fall into place, Lisa learns the truth about Adam's connection to her mother. His actions, driven by a deep sense of guilt and a desire for redemption, suddenly make sense. Adam confesses how he had wronged Lisa's mother years ago and has since been trying to make amends by helping Lisa and her children, though his methods were secretive and often misguided. In a dramatic turn of events, Adam decides to use his considerable resources and influence to reverse the sale of Lisa's house. He takes decisive action, ensuring that Lisa and her children have a secure place to call home. This act of redemption is both an apology and a final effort to set things right. For the first time in a long while, hope begins to flicker in Lisa's heart as she sees a path forward. Lisa takes a deep breath and approaches Adam, who has just finished a call. Her heart, once heavy with distrust and pain, now feels lighter. She realizes that holding on to anger will only hinder her progress. Lisa speaks softly, thanking Adam for his honesty and efforts to help. She expresses her forgiveness, not only for him but for herself, allowing healing to begin. Adam, relieved and emotional, promises to continue supporting her and her children. The days that follow are a whirlwind of change. The community rallies around Lisa, offering support and acknowledging Adam's sacrifices. Rachel, the community lawyer, helps finalize the legalities, ensuring Lisa's home is secure. Adam remains a constant presence, becoming a mentor to Ethan and a friend to Lisa. They all work together to rebuild their lives, focusing on a brighter future. The story ends on a hopeful note, showing Lisa and her children thriving in their home. They share a moment of laughter and joy, symbolizing their journey from despair to hope. Adam stands nearby, watching over them with a content smile, knowing he has finally made amends. The community's support, Lisa's resilience, and Adam's redemption create a tapestry of triumph over adversity, leaving a lasting message of hope and perseverance.